Ebola is a very devastating disease and is threatening the lives of local community in Sierra Leone right now, and also Sierra Leoneans across the diaspora. And it's not just Sierra Leoneans, it's a world disease now. We can see so many cases, and I feel with this medium on Power Extra Radio, it's one of the strongest channels which I can use as a DJ to help communicate and raise awareness about the disease to the rest of the world.
And you're saying that's because you think you have a good relationship with the community. Sometimes that message needs to come from someone who knows the community rather than from an authority figure, maybe from the government. Tell me a bit about that.
Well, because of the length of time which I've been a DJ, saying I'm almost 19 years now, and I've formed a very strong relationship as a community activist as well. I believe when the message comes from people like myself and goes across to the local community, either in the UK or back in Sierra Leone, it's more effective and it's well received.
Then what would you say is the general mood among people living here in London who are from that community, perhaps worried for people back home? I mean, what would you say is their general feeling?
Concern. I totally agree with you. They may be worried. There's a great concern as well, about, because everybody is concerned that it's not going to affect any of their relatives back home. However, there's a general consensus for the whole country to come together and support each other to try to educate and move forward and say, look, it's a disease. We've been through devastating time. We've gone through the war, the Civil War, about 10, 11 years ago, and we've triumphantly come through that. So there's no reason why such a disease, which is threatening the lives of our people as Sierra Leoneans, if we stand firm and move forward in terms of educating and supporting our relatives back home, why shouldn't we come beat this, is the word to say. We should be able to beat this disease as well.
And do people call into the show? What kind of things are they saying or asking about?
Well, every Thursday night when we're out here broadcasting with DJ Little and Baby Banks, we put the program out, and the last 4 to 6 weeks we've been focusing especially on the Ebola subject, trying to raise awareness, and we get callers across the world. And I've received calls from as far back as China, where a Sierra Leonean there is concerned about their relative, and they just wanted us to use the platform to try and support and educate and just say something which was something that was very special to them, in terms of, look, can you tell my family back home to make sure that they do their hand wash regularly. He believes just saying it directly through the phone may not be effective, but saying it through the radio will be far more potent. So we get various and diverse calls, as well as the UK, and we're privileged to also have different medical personalities and also politicians that have come into the radio station to communicate messages. We've given them the opportunity to say what's going on in the country at the minute, what sort of helps and measures are being put in terms of improving the situation.
You feel is directly affected, same like people here in London? I mean, I guess that so many people must know someone, must have relatives back home, and I guess either they know someone who might have actually died or become sick, or they might just be worried about it. Do you think it's a touch lots of people?
Sierra Leone is a very, very small community where every Sierra Leonean knows every Sierra Leonean, if I could put it that way. So in some sort of capacity, we've all been affected by this disease. So there's no single Sierra Leonean that can say, well, look, I may not have a relative directly that's involved or that has been affected by the disease, but however, I do know of a neighbor or another neighbor who has been affected. So as a result of that, I feel I have had a family member who has been affected. So together, we pull together and we stay strong, and in terms of raising the awareness, profiling this whole disease and how we can beat it. So every Sierra Leonean has been affected directly or indirectly.
And do you think, you mentioned politicians are coming to speak, do you feel that enough is being done? I mean, there's been a lot of criticism of the international community for not doing something sooner. Do you think enough's being done at the moment?
It's when I get that question being asked to say, has enough been done? I would say a lot has been done in the capacity at which they've reacted best, because nobody knew the full impact or the full potent of the disease. So at the time, the reaction from the government was based on the knowledge which they had. So yes, the government had reacted well, but that was based on the knowledge of the disease which they had. In terms of the reaction of the international community, I can't fault the international community to such an extent, because, again, no one knew whether this was going to escalate to such gravity. However, the support which the UK government has given Sierra Leone since the start of the disease, since the disease became a world crisis, not just a world crisis, threatening the lives of the rest of the world, the reactions which they've put in place for Sierra Leone, the way they've supported the country as a whole, I can't but be grateful to the UK government for that. So as a result of this, we are going to be uniting together as Sierra Leoneans and as Africans. We're going to be marching, assembling at Elephant and Castle, and we're going to be marching on to the House of Commons to say, look, we appreciate what is being done for Sierra Leone and the rest of the world, but we would like some more improvements. We would like to see improvements done about the speed of the vaccine being developed. So yes, I'm not one to come out there and say if enough has not been done. Enough has always been done based on the knowledge.
I was asking you as well about the particular song that you were playing, because I was pleasantly surprised by how upbeat it was as well. I mean, tell me a bit about what you were saying about
that. The song choice, what Sierra Leone as a nation is, and instead of actually just going for the very ballad songs, which will be very, very slow, and those messages sometimes will not come across, especially when you're trying to educate and empower the youth. Right, don't forget, Wednesday the 29th of October, we're going to be rallying. We assemble at Elephant and Castle, 10 o'clock in the morning. We're going to be marching on to the House of Commons, and we all know what this is about. It's in appreciation of what the work the British government is doing so far in the Sierra Leonean community, and as well as the diaspora. So come together with your family. It's a half-time break, so you don't need to say who's going to look after the kids. You are at home, the kids are at home. We all come together. We assemble at Elephant and Castle. We march on. Come dressed in your best Sierra Leonean attire. Wear your green, white and blue. Get your flags. Get your banners ready. We are going to be there, coming as a numbers. And if you also know friends of Sierra Leone, your Nigerians, your Guineans, your Liberians, areas that have been affected, let's all come together, because on the 29th of October at 10 a.m. we need to march in numbers, great numbers, to say thank you, Britain.